Hello Year 7, I'm just going to give you some help with lesson 2 of the weather and climate stuff that is up on Teams. So first of all, when you first open it up, it looks a mess, and it's just something to do with the way that Word works online. So if you open it up in a desktop app, so clicking that button at the top, when it comes up it will look like how I intended it to look, so it'll look a lot neater and tidier. So just give it a couple of minutes to open. There we go. So we can see it looks a lot neater and it kind of makes a little bit more sense. So what we are going to do is I'll just talk through. You don't need any of the sheets for this one. You just need your your knowledge, and you just need to be able to work things out. So if I just zoom in a touch so we can see it. Now this is color coded for a reason. Because the colour coding helps you with the examples. So similar to the last lesson, what you have to do first of all is work out the average weekly temperature for the Ryedale area by getting the temperature for each week, then working out the average or the mean. Okay. Now there's an example here that shows you the method, and it tells you kind of how to do it up here, but basically you want to add up week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 and divide that number by 4, which is the total number of numbers. So we've got the example done for the temperature for January, and then we've got the example done for the precipitation. So remember, precipitation is just a fancy word for rainfall, but also includes snow and hail and things. And we've got the average there. Okay, so you should get a number that's kind of similar to the numbers that are there. Okay, obviously with this one, if you've got something like 20, you should know it's wrong. So use those examples to help and fill those in. Okay, either print it out and write it in, or just do it on the computer. Now what we want to do then is you want to imagine that you've drawn a graph out of these, and that graph would look like this. So the bars are the rainfall, okay, which you would measure on this side where it says precipitation. And the line here is the temperature that you would measure off this side. So in January, you know that the temperature was about 3.8, okay, because we can read that off there. And what you need to do is to describe that graph, okay? So these are the skills you need to do. You might remember doing something like this in school with a rainforest climate graph. So that's the skills that you need to do there. What I've done, because it is quite tricky, especially to do from home when you haven't been to school for a long time, is I've just got to fill in the blank. So overall, the temperature is low in, okay? And you need to fill in, you need to find where's the temperature low, which is the month, okay? So obviously it's low in winter, okay? Reaching its lowest temperature, so you go down to here. Where's the lowest temperature? Well, it's here, so it reaches the lowest temperature, 3.9 in January. Okay, and it reaches its peak in that month. Okay, and then you're talking about precipitation, so that's about the bars. Okay, so just be really careful. It's all color coded to help you match. So temperature is always red, okay, on the graph and the table, and precipitation is always blue. So that is quite tricky, but I'll have a go at it. Once you've done that, this is a little bit easier. What you need to do is read the information about these 5 air masses. So the air masses is air that reaches the UK from different places, okay, and it describes what the weather is like when the wind comes from that location. What you need to do is read the description and decide which air mass it is. So for example, if you thought this one was the polar continental, because there's a 1 there, you'll put a number 1 in here, okay, and you can double click and type in it, okay, I'll put a text box over it, or you can print it out and paste it and write it in with a pen. So it should tell you information there. So another thing to remember is think about where it comes from. The word continental means it comes from over land, and the word maritime means it comes from over water, so that will help as well. Okay, so obviously polar is going to come from the north, okay, if it's continental, think about where the continents are, and it obviously helps you there as well. Source region is Eastern Europe and Siberia and Russia, okay, and it approaches the UK from the UK east, okay, so that's that one, okay. So a little bit easier than the first bit, but hopefully you'll be able to give it a good go, and good luck with that.